Again, everyone, welcome aboard the Spirit of Seattle. My name's Greg. I'm on the top deck, and I'm going to be your tour guide today. Let you guys know a little bit about myself. I've lived here in Seattle for about 10 years now. I joined the Coast Guard, and I got stationed here in Seattle, and I've been up here ever since. It's a wonderful city, and I've got so much to share with you guys. Who here on the top deck is actually from Seattle? Is anybody up here from Seattle? Nobody? No? So I could make this entire tour up and nobody would correct me on the top deck? Yeah? All right, very cool. No, I'm kidding. Who's just from the West Coast? You guys any from the West Coast? A few of you back there? All right. How about my Midwesterners?
Yay!
Country. Got a few of you? Okay. How about East Coast travelers? The East Coast travelers? No one up here that I can see? All right. Anybody from the South? Got one back there? Okay. Now, how about because it can be classified with the middle of the country or the South? Are there any Texans on board? Oh, okay. At the end of the week, we will draw 2 names out of our jar downstairs at the bar, and you get 2 free tickets to Tilipa Village. It's a $160 value. If you guys want to participate in that, go visit the bartenders downstairs. They'll be happy to show you where to sign up for that. Now, off to our right-hand or starboard side of the boat, you guys, you can see the downtown central waterfront. Pier 57 is the large red pier. It's home to our newest addition here in Seattle. This is 175-foot Ferris wheel. It's called the Seattle Great Wheel. There are 42 gondolas that go around, all enclosed and climate controlled. So as you go around, you can turn the heat on or the air conditioner on, whatever you prefer. Now there is one gondola, you'll have to look around for it, but it is different from all the rest. I'll give you a hint, it's at the very top. That one gondola is the VIP card. Now that VIP card is pretty unique. Not only is it a different color, but you do have to pay 4 times the price to get onto it. See touch tanks where they allow you to put your hands inside the tanks and feel the wildlife. Really cool. They also have a nationally recognized otter breeding program, which pays for the admission alone, because otters are just plain adorable, right? Let's definitely go over and check those guys out. If you don't want to see swimming fish, maybe you want to see some flying fish, we got you covered. Just off to our right, above those blue and gray condos, above the elevated freeway, is a long mustard colored building with a green roof. That is Pike Place Public Market. Who's been there? Everyone? That's like the thing to do in Seattle, right? You go to the market, you take a picture of the Space Needle, and then you get rained on and your trip is complete. Seriously, the 3 things that'll happen. Now, while you're at Pike Place Market, you might want to visit the first ever Starbucks, which started at Pike Place Market here in Seattle back in 1971. Now, the original location is still up at Pike Place today. You can go up there and get the original logo and the original memorabilia and all that stuff. So you can say, hey, I was at the first ever Starbucks. But if you're looking just for Starbucks coffee and you don't want to wait that extra half an hour in line, the secret is pretty simple. You walk a block in any direction to the next Starbucks. It's the exact same coffee. Now, out to our right here, though, you guys can see this large multicolor complex here on Pier 66. This is Seattle's first ever cruise ship terminal. We built this cruise ship terminal back in 1996, kind of hoping that cruise ships would just show up. Before I talk about the Olympic Sculpture Park, get your cameras out. This is about to be the closest, most unobstructed view of the Space Needle that we're going to have from the water today. If you guys want a photo of the Space Needle, you should probably get a photo right now. Now, I'll talk about the Space Needle a little bit later, though. But again, the Olympics, the water temperature here in Elliott Bay all year round is 47 degrees. You guys, it's been really amazing weather-wise the last couple of weeks, minus today. Now, the first industrial part of our tour that we're seeing today is right off to our right-hand side. This is Seattle's grain terminal, Terminal 86. You can see there are 68 concrete grain silos. Those 68 silos can hold 4.2 million bushels of grain. 1 bushel is about 56 pounds, all on the ship. By the time that vessel gets back to Seattle, it's already in sail. Trawling is a form of fishing for the long net, about 160 feet long and dragging for miles catching fish. This is different from trolling, which is a form of fishing for the long line. So for all the kids out there that don't know what I'm talking about, you guys remember that movie Finding Nemo? Remember where they're catching the deepest in the Puget Sound, which is north of us a little ways, is charted at 907. Now we also have Dolls This, which is like the northwest version of a dolphin. We see them all the time. In fact, earlier today, we saw some porpoises go right by. It's like the northwest version of a dolphin. You see them, keep your eyes open for that. Now we also have 5 different species of salmon that swim through these waters. We also have the giant Pacific octopus, the largest species of octopus in the world. I built it up to sound dramatic. It's really Now everyone on board knows it as the Space Needle, but in fact that was not its original name. Its original name was the 21st Century Exposition Tower, and it was called that because the architect firmly believed that every single building in the 21st century would look exactly like the Space Needle. You get to an office building because you really can't do that. The city of Seattle was told by the World's Fair company that owned it that as soon as the fair was over, that it would be the property of the city of Seattle, right? Did you guys know that the city of Seattle set up a demolition date for the Space Needle? Well, as you can see, it's still here today, so it obviously hasn't been torn down, and that is because 2 local investors came forward and they bought the Space Needle. Actually, I've been a Mariners fan for the last 10 years, and it has been a rough decade, but we're doing quite well this year, and I'm really impressed with our Mariners. I don't want to talk about the series we just ended today, but against the Mets. Any Mets fans on board? No? Are you guys just not wanting to admit it because I'm the guy that hands out the light jackets? Is that how it works? No, I'm kidding. No, the Mets, I was at not today's game, I was at last night's game, and it just didn't go. That's okay. The Mariners are over 500, which is great. If the season ended today, as long as the Yankees don't win, we would still make the playoffs, which is pretty cool, so go Mariners. Definitely step outside and get a photo if you guys want to see this or close to it right now. This is a pretty good picture. Now, if you guys look just between the legs of the crane, just the crane operator's booth, a little glass box right there, 13 stories off the ground. Now, when a ship comes in, the ship will dock up, then the cranes will move side to side because they're all in place. They'll move side to side and start loading and unloading the ship. Now, as you can see, we don't have a ship, huge clock tower. Now the cranes are moving a little bit, but on top of that clock tower is a huge American flag, but there's also a giant green emblem up there. You guys know what that stands for? That's okay. But do you guys want to guess how many Starbucks are in Seattle? Let me rephrase that. How many Starbucks do you think there are in a 5-mile radius of Pier 55 from where you got on the boat today? Keep in mind there's one at Pier 55. I heard 20. I then informed him that Seattle's Best is owned by Starbucks, and he was devastated. The only thing I can say is do your research. Now up to our right, you guys, we have the Coast Guard base. This is Coast Guard Sector Puget Sound. This is where I got to spend my time in the Coast Guard. You can see the number 11, the Polar Sea, a non-nuclear class icebreaker, one of 3 icebreakers stationed here in Seattle. Icebreakers do exactly what their name suggests. You guys know what that is? They break ice, they're great conversation starters. Oh, that's pretty bad. Okay, no, they go to Arctic regions and clear shipping lanes. Now, Safeco Field is what I like to call Seattle's midlife crisis. It costs $517 million, and it's a convertible. Now, that roof is $67 million, and it can open and close in about 15 minutes. So today's game, which played at noon, and again, Mariners lost 3-2. They played inside. But if it's nice, like if it would have been like this, they would have opened the roof and played outside. We never have a rained out game, so it's pretty cool. Now the second sports stadium that you can see there has the white arches and blue roof. That is CenturyLink Field. CenturyLink Field is a multi-use stadium with concerts here, public speakers, motocross, you name it, it happens here. Now we have 2 professional football teams that play here. One of them is a soccer team, so football. That's our Sounders, our Seattle Sounders, play for the MLS. They're ranked currently the #1 team in the nation. Now, the Sounders have also broken every single attendance record in the MLS. We have an average game attendance of 43,000 fans per game. You guys, that is 20,000 more than any other MLS team in the United States. In fact, we've had 3 games recently in the last 2 weeks, and all 3 of those games have seen attendance over 60,000. Now, also another team that plays here, which you guys might know of, because they were in the news recently, of course, is our Seattle Seahawks, who are currently the world's greatest football team. Oh, I heard a
Broncos cheer out there. You know, actually, I have to kind of agree with that. But I love the Seahawks, and I've supported the Seahawks, and I've been rooting for them the whole way. And they go to the Super Bowl, and they play the Denver Broncos. I grew up in Colorado. So, of course, my family calls me and says, Greg, what are you going to do? I'm like, well, I'm going to root for the Seahawks because I live in Seattle now. It is so loud in there, they now require all players on the field to wear specially designed helmets or earplugs to drown out the noise. Because 15 or less seconds at that decibel rating can cause permanent hearing damage. We're so loud here that on numerous occasions, because we're in a seismically active area, seismographs have picked up earthquakes epicentered at CenturyLink Field. In fact, in 2010, when the Saints were in town, we had a particularly exciting play where our running back ran for a touchdown, 67 yards, broke like 7 tackles. When he scored the touchdown, the fans were jumping up and down so much, the University of Washington, 4 miles away, recorded a 2.1 earthquake at the university. And then they'll just switch pilot houses, so walk to their side of the boat and drive away. They never have to turn around. The building just above that Washington State Ferry is the small white tower with the pyramid on top. That is Smith Tower. It was built by L.C. Smith, July 4th, 1914. That building just celebrated its 100th birthday. Not only that, if you guys are wondering who L.C. Smith is, it's the same Smith that Smith & Corona typewriters. If you're not sure what that is, just ask your parents. Now, if you want to go visit Smith Tower, you can go to the observation deck just at the base of the pyramid. It costs $7.50. Definitely worth checking out. You cannot go into the pyramid because a family of 4 lives there. Pretty cool. Probably the coolest apartment in Seattle, right? Now, the last thing, you guys, real quick, Pier 54, right next door to us. It's home to Ivar's Acres of Clams. If you guys are looking for a good seafood restaurant that's really family-friendly, decent prices, I definitely recommend Ivar's. They do encourage you to feed your leftover French fries to the seagulls. You can see them there off to the right of the building. I have to tell you now, you guys, these are the fattest, most aggressive seagulls you'll ever see in your entire life. And I know from personal experience, they do not know the difference between fingers and French fries. If you point at a seagull, they're going to go for it. Be very careful, all right? Now with that though, you guys, we are pulling back into Pier 55. I am not only your tour guide, I am also one of your deckhands. So I have to run downstairs and tie up the boat. I had a wonderful time with all of you folks. I hope you did too. I hope you enjoy this beautiful day here in Seattle. Have a good one.
How about a nice round of applause for Greg?
Kyle. Takes us just 41 seconds together to reach the observation deck here at 10 miles an hour. Total height of the building is 605 feet, 184 meters. It's a 60-story building. Built in 1962 for the Age of Space World's Fair. It's where we first unveiled both the touch-tone telephone and the microwave oven to the world 52 years ago. You're looking up to the north at residential Queen Anne Hill. Off to the right is our international seaplane port, freshwater Lake Union. And to the left is saltwater Elliott Bay in the Puget Sound. Up on the observation deck, there's indoor and outdoor viewing. There's a cafe if you get hungry. And we're open till midnight, so you're welcome to stay as long as you'd like. Enjoy the views and have fun.
Thank you so much.
What did you see? Tell me, okay?
Oh, the Key Arena. I think that's where Sonic is. Is that light grades or what is I like that.
Oh, that is so cool. Are you okay? Ronnie Mountain. Right here. Ronnie Mountain.
I don't see it.
Really? Good look down. Bingo. Orange. Bingo, bingo, bingo.
What is that?
Take your picture because I want to go to the
Welcome back to the elevator. I have one very important question. Did everybody have a good time up top today? Yeah. All right, some enthusiasm, always good to hear. Well, there's obviously wonderful views on the way down, but if you do happen to have any questions about Seattle, the Space Needle, or anything of that nature, do feel free to ask me or just enjoy the ride.
Question? Question?
Okay. How about the flora?
Oh, over to the left?
It's a music, right?
No, so that's actually that's the Science Museum over there.
Science music.
Yeah, I know the flowers play music, but
Close, right?
yeah, it's closed.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful night. Watch your step on the way out. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.